What's up, Mexipino family? Before we start the podcast, I want to make sure y'all are up on game with our sponsors, Tap Tap Send. Tap Tap Send is a remittance app that allows you to send money to your friends and family over to the Philippines in seconds. Literally seconds, my friends. The best part about it is that there are zero fees that are attached to it. Other remittance apps, they might take like a couple pesos out of it, so you're not getting the full 55 pesos that you could send over to your friends and family per dollar. Also, too, if you use code Mexipino, you will get 20 US dollars that you will be able to send over to your friends and family over there. So what I'm gonna need y'all to do is, man, download the Tap Tap Send app today. It's very easy. You tap on the app store, you tap 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 Send, and make sure you download it for the F, and then you tap Philippines, you type in Mexipino, and you send your money. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let's get over to the podcast and enjoy this one with Ellerali. Kamusta na kayo?
Hola, hola, everyone.
Oh, mabuti.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, good.
I love it. You know, sometimes we like start off with the intro and then people don't recognize when we have like that little, here, it's your turn now.
Yeah. And then they just kind of stare. They're like, oh, wait, it's my, okay, I talk now.
I just want to jump right on in.
Yeah. Shouts out to our next guest in the building, Elle from Ellerali. What up?
Hi, guys. Good morning. Thanks
Good morning.
for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you. I mean, I started knowing about you once I met Nico, which was in 2020.
Yeah.
And honestly, to see your growth from there with what you do, amazing.
Thank
so props
you.
To you.
Thank you, man. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen so many growths through this podcast and just
A lot.
being in the creative field. How wild.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, a lot of us, you've been doing this for like longer than, prior to the pandemic, right? But then, for businesses who started during the pandemic, whether it be like this podcast or, like our people over at Sunkissed Pinay and all that, like, their businesses have grown like so much over the past couple of years. It's like the pandemic was almost a blessing and a curse in a way. Yeah. People learned how to be more creative with their businesses and really learned how to thrive because a lot of people lost their jobs.
Yeah.
So, like the fact that people were able to thrive during this time and just catapult their businesses is amazing to see.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's also what happened with you in a sense.
Yeah, man, it was wild times, man. Welcome to 2023. Guys, we made it through the pandemic. Here we are.
I feel like this is year one now. It's year one.
This is year one. We're finally resetting.
Yeah, what a trip. Yeah, I mean, the business, when the pandemic hit, it was crazy because, all retail, fashion was not a priority. All these things happened, and it really gave creatives the ability to pivot and to try different things. And also people who may have never wanted to go into the creative field, try different things. So you're right. Like, it was a blessing, a curse at moments for people. And I'm just so glad that we're here today and we're moving and grooving and we're moving forward. So
yeah, for sure.
I remember when like the pandemic hit, we're in the entertainment industry. So there was literally no concerts, no
Nothing.
major sports teams playing. And even if they were, it was just the team, no fans. So my job was basically non-existent. I remember I told Nico at one point, I was like, I know, I'm not going to be doing anything, so might as well put what I'm making off of like unemployment into myself. And I started doing lashes. And
really?
I started doing lashes during the pandemic, and for some reason, everyone still wanted lashes. I was just like, this is like, everyone still wants to upkeep with, themselves and their self-care, and lashes were the way to go.
I feel like I almost shaved my head bald during the pandemic. My hair was so short.
It was short, huh?
And I was like, man, this is the time. No one's going to see me. If I want to experiment, let's do it. So, yeah. Gosh, that's how you can tell how long it's been.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm like, I do remember you like just chopping it off.
Yep.
That's so crazy. I remember I chopped my hair off, like, when was it? I want to say 2017, and I was like literally right below my ears.
Yeah. Hair kind of takes a while to grow.
It takes so long.
I just chopped off 10 inches, actually.
Did you?
Yeah. I mean, it's braided right now, so it looks even shorter, but I chopped off 10 inches, and it was still probably up to my shoulder.
Yeah, it was probably up to his shoulder, and he didn't chop.
Oh my gosh, how do you feel?
Oh, I felt like a new person, honestly.
Yeah, right?
No, wasn't there a saying that you were saying, like, when you chop off your hair, you're like cutting off bad energy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're just kind of like restarting wherever, you know, this is like a new chapter.
Yeah, basically.
That's what I like to think.
Any reason why you cut your hair?
Dude, I just felt like it was like a time to just change. You know, my hair was like all the way up here.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to do a pixie, but I just never had the guts to do it.
What's a pixie?
It's just like really short.
Oh, okay, okay,
pixie haircut, and I just never had the guts to do it because I was always in fashion shows and everything like that, and it was the time. It was time. It's like, you know, the Simba thing. It's like,
Yeah. It looks so
She got raised and everything too. She was like this, like.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, it looks so good on you though.
Oh, thank you.
Do you ever think about cutting it again?
Probably not.
No?
I do like it short, but not like as big. It took so long. It's hard to maintain short hair. Like, I was like, how often do I have to get my hair cut to maintain this? It was like every 2-3 weeks. And I was like, oh man, this is how men feel.
Yeah, and then
Having to
also
cut
too,
their
there's
hair.
like that awkward phase where
Right.
you're just like, I literally feel like I can't do anything with
Right.
this.
It's like damn near bowl cut.
Yeah, no, for real. But for those who don't know and those who are listening to the podcast, can you explain a little bit about what you do?
Yes, my name is Elle, and I am the founder of Ellerali, which is a sustainable fashion brand that has a mission to recreate the created by upcycling fabric to reduce textile waste. So pretty much I take the clothes that you don't want and I remake it into something dope and fresh, pretty much.
That's awesome.
Which is hella cool because I remember, I forgot what year we met. I want to say circa 2017 or 18. And then I just remember seeing your booth and I was like, I've never seen clothes like this before. It was kind of like this, like a Tetris of clothes, if you could say. Yeah.
Ooh,
that's the best way I could explain it.
Yeah, I mean, we saw each other, what was it, like a Filipino festival, I think?
Was it in the Bay?
Was it in the Bay? Did we meet in the Bay?
I think it was. I think
That's
it might have been like a
wild.
pistahan or something.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Okay, yeah, because I'm from here, but I do a lot of shows in the Bay. I lived in the Bay for a little bit, so I get like disconnected or connected with like, did we meet from the Bay? Or do we meet here? Where are you from?
Yeah.
Where are we going?
You're Filipino. You can be from either or.
I honestly. So you guys met 2017.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ellerali is about 5 years old, which is
Oh wow,
wild.
okay. Wow. Oh, that's so dope.
But then, so I guess the key thing in this is like upcycling.
Yes,
Right? So can you
yes.
explain what upcycling is? Because even I like teeter-tatter between like recycling, upcycling, like...
Yeah, so upcycling is pretty much taking what we already have and recreating it. And versus recycling is you're pretty much breaking it down to almost raw material and then remaking it over again. So pretty much, you know, taking that plastic bottle, bringing it back down to like smaller pieces and then remaking it into something else. So it's very energy intensive when it comes to recycling versus upcycling. We're just pretty much recreating.
We already have it in front of us, and then we just piece it together.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
dope.
Like we already have everything. Let's just remake it
Use
into something different.
Yeah, we just have so much stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
Honestly, Nico has a bunch of stuff if you want to
I
take
bet.
it too.
Nico, give me your stuff. I'm pretty sure you have some dope shirts.
Dude, I've never seen someone...
cannot.
Y'all don't see her face if you're just listening, but she got so excited. Like, give me all your shit right
I'm
now.
pretty sure Nico has some dope shirts, Nico.
I do.
All my really cool dope shirts come from the Bay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because, gosh, man, y'all hard fans for sure in sports.
Oh, no,
I have
yeah.
made so many like Bay Area sports collections for sure. And then just the style in the Bay I think is really dope too. So I get a lot of really cool things.
I saw that you just recently did a crop top for one of the soccer players for Angel City
Yes!
FC.
Oh my gosh, yes!
Yeah.
Jasmine Spencer. I just watched my first game.
Oh
the
my
other
God.
week.
Aren't,
It was
like-
so fun. Y'all need to check it out.
Yeah.
Support Angel City. Check out the games. It is so neat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're the new like women's soccer team.
Yes.
Remember I
Oh,
was
okay.
telling you
Yeah.
about-
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling me about
and
that.
they usually have like just kind of like how you know NBA players do the walkthroughs, they take the pictures and everything like that prior to the game. Well, Al made a crop top for one of the players.
Super
Yeah.
lit.
Yeah.
So Jasmine Spencer, she's been following Ellerali for the past few years. She's been a huge fan in sustainability. She has her own brand called Jazz It Up, and she had a bunch of leftover shirts that she wanted to recreate into something.
Oh, that's so dope.
So we worked together. We created this mini collection. We made a couple crops, a couple flies out of her Revolutionize the Game tee. And we sold it. And it was so great to be able to meet with her, to talk to her, to interview her, and then just to create this collection for her.
That's awesome.
Just to watch the game. So
yeah, soccer games are so fun. I remember
They're
took
lit.
him to his first one for Galaxy, which is a team that I host for, and he was just like, "Oh, this is like hella fun!" Like, especially the supporters section, they don't stop.
Right,
it is so awesome.
Right, and the stadium is beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it really is. But like, so when it comes to like working with like athletes or working with celebrities, do you find it difficult because you don't know, you have to like get to know them prior, or do you just kind of, they let you do what you want?
I think I feel very lucky that they just kind of let me do what I want.
That's lit. That's lit. You still have all creative control.
Yes. And I think that just comes with the whole like trusting each other and kind of doing this, collaboration of like, what are you imagining? And this is kind of what I feel. And then we kind of work that way. And it's just a very, like, just like kind of hanging out with you guys. It's just very like authentic and chill. And yeah, it's really nice.
And you create something really dope out of it.
Yeah.
And then is everything just like a one-of-one piece, basically?
Sometimes. So with Jasmine's collection, she had she provided like 10 of the same shirt. So I was able to kind of create maybe like 2 crops, 2 dresses that looked the same.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So just kind of depending on what I'm given, but for the most part, everything is one of one.
Oh, that's
Got you.
Yeah.
Then how did you guys connect? Was it really just on like, I like the fact that you upcycle? Or okay.
Oh, that's so dope.
That's lit. I mean, I honestly didn't think this was a thing until I found your business a couple years ago.
Oh, that makes me happy. And it wasn't. I didn't know anyone that was doing it. And now I feel like everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I still feel like you're the only one doing it. I mean, maybe
that makes me happy. Good.
Yeah, no.
Like, gosh, everyone's doing it.
Well, no, I see like some people on TikTok, but I feel like the like quality of work that you put in, it's definitely, you can tell one from the other.
Oh, thank you.
100%. So like when, I forgot my question, Jesus Christ, but like,
He'll help you.
Yeah. I mean, if we're still talking about celebrities who like vouch for your personal brand, I remember a couple of years ago, Kehlani was like a huge advocate for your brand.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Thank you so much, Kehlani. That was huge.
Yeah.
And I think as we talk about like dreams and like going for, what you believe in, like Kehlani found me like when I was in year 1.
right.
And I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, if this is the epitome of Ellerali, this is great. I'm
I'm good.
Everyone's like, what are you talking about? You just started, And so it's just so amazing to have opportunities like that. And you're right. I was doing a show. Kehlani came into my booth. She pretty much bought me out.
Wow, that's so
lit.
dope.
Yeah. And then the next day she like, went on live, started posting about me. And it was just like, I didn't even know what to do at that moment. I was like, I can't even breathe. Like, I'm just trying to figure out what show I'm going to do next. And like, I'm getting all these like pings on Instagram, all these followers come in, all these messages come in. And it was just such a rush of just like, wow.
And it was a genuine.
It was genuine.
Yeah.
It was. I didn't ask for anything, and she just really supported the brand. She's such huge in sustainability.
Yeah.
And so, just to kind of get that when you first start a business is just so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's still a content supporter. She's so
awesome.
amazing. Yeah.
That's so
Do you
dope.
think that getting, I guess, these I don't want to use the word like stamp of approval, but let's just call it that right now. Like, do you think like that really motivated you to like want to do like even more of this? Because
course,
especially on year 1, it's like we don't know what we're doing on year 1.
Yes. But I do also feel that that's kind of what also I think as a creator, when you get that boost up, you're constantly looking for the next one.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
And that's
It's a weird drug.
It is a weird thing, and so we have to remember that, like, just continuing to be here is good enough, and whatever comes and goes. But it's like, what's the next thing? Where are we gonna go next? Okay, where are we going next? Which is great to have those goals and those aspirations.
Yeah.
But it definitely was. It was a huge thing, and sometimes, like, we think, like, did that really happen? Like,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But it's really cool.
So, like, I guess to kind of like tie all of this in, because people naturally were just into like sustainability, but like for you, like what made you want to get into this particular business? Like what made you want to start Ellerali?
Yeah, well, I'm actually a marine biologist. So
I was literally gonna ask you if you went to school for this.
Yeah, no. I don't know what I'm doing, guys.
I took an oceanography class. That's about it.
Yeah, isn't that cool though?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so dope.
Yeah, so I went to UC Santa Cruz for marine biology, and then for
you're wild.
about 10 years I was working with marine mammals and conservation and education, usually with dolphins. And like I'm an avid diver. I love diving. And it just kind of came to the point where I was like having to educate people about what was going on with marine mammals and the oceans and about the trash. And honestly, I just kind of got shocked and surprised how unaware we were of the amount of trash we were producing every single day.
I mean, do you have like numbers off the top of your head? Even if it was like back then.
Well, right now the average person throws about like 70 to 80 pounds of waste a year. Yeah, and people throw away their clothes like so often, like maybe 3 or 4 times uses and it's in the trash, you know? So it's just crazy, especially now with fast fashion. You know, it's so easy to just buy things and dispose of it.
Yeah.
And so it was just nuts how I think about it, like how unaware we were of the amount of textile waste and amount of trash we were producing every day.
Right.
And so my mom used to sew when I was younger. And so I got a sewing machine. I was living in Hawaii at that time, and I fell in love with upcycling curtains and bed sheets.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And then I remember wearing my upcycled curtain pants one day, and someone was like, oh my God, those are really cute. Like, where did you get it? And do you make more? And I remember the exact moment I was with my coworkers, and I was like, my next career is going to be an upcycled designer. And this is where I am now.
That's sick.
So I became a hoarder of other people's clothes.
You're like, you don't want it, I'll keep it.
But I fell in love with everyone's like clothes. Like everyone had these amazing graphics. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to be able to create something that's like multifunctional, reversible, has pockets, comfortable, zero waste.
That's so
wasn't seeing it anywhere.
Yeah.
And I just pretty much did it. And that's how the fly dress came about. It's kind of one of my more signature pieces. And then after that, I just kept on making more and doing shows and markets and seeing what everyone liked, and here we are now.
That's so dope.
Yeah, so I guess from like your, making what you did in like Hawaii, what was like your next step after that? Like, did you try to just do shows over there? Did you try to move over here to California?
Yeah, so I was living on the Big Island of Hawaii for 5 years doing marine biology, and then my mom got really sick. And so it kind of came to the point where I was like, all right, girl, like it's time to go home.
Oh, wow.
So my mom, like I said, my mom used to sew when I was younger, so I felt like it was a great way for me to reconnect, and we can do this brand together, we can sew together.
Okay.
Right, so that was kind of the vision, like, oh, maybe, I can make up for me being a brat when I was younger. Start sewing and rebuilding this connection. So I came back, and I was taking care of her for about 2 years, and then she passed away, and I continued to do it. And so that's kind of what brought me back home to LA, was to be with her, to take care of her. And now I'm helping take care of my family. My older sister has a developmental disability, so I hang out with her, and she does all the stamping and the paintings for my tags.
Oh, that's lit. That's cool.
And so
it's become a little family business too.
Yeah, I would love for it if I could just take everybody in the business.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But I also feel like you said, like, what people will, especially with fast fashion now, and now you said like 3 to 4 uses and then it's in the trash. But with your clothes, it's like, this is one of one. I want to keep it.
Right, yes.
And you have so much usage out of it because, like you said, you can do it reversible. It's comfortable. And, like, I feel like, especially with fast fashion, it's just like, okay, I just want to feel uncomfortable for one night and then I'm going to toss it.
Yeah.
Right. And we also, and I also specialize in custom. So that's like my favorite part is like the custom process. So I'll have my booths and I'm like, okay, guys, like check it out. And then I'm like, but the cool thing is like, I can make any of these styles with your own clothes. And that's where people are like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, go shopping in your closet, find the shirts that maybe have a hole or a stain, or maybe this doesn't fit you correctly and you are keeping it for some reason. Like, let's take that and let's remake it into something you'll want to wear again.
That's hella funny. Like, you're keeping it for some reason. Yeah. It's like, that's the reason why I can't get rid of some shirts, because then I always think of like, man, I remember I got this during da-da-da. Like, this shirt is old as hell now. Like, it's kind of dusty and whatnot, but I'm like, I can't let go of it. Yeah. I just really can't.
But you're still wearing it as it is.
Yeah.
Which is great. But there's people who have like these shirts that are just like,
that definitely don't fit.
That don't fit, or maybe have a hole or a stain. Like, maybe one day.
Yeah.
They're just hoarding in the back, which I get it.
It's the pambahay, you know?
Yes.
You know what that means, babe?
Isn't that what you sent to the Philippines?
No, so the pambahay, that's...
Your pambahay clothes, yeah.
Your pambahay, it kind of just translates to, like, clothes for home.
Okay, then what am I thinking of when you, like, pack things and send it to the Philippines?
I think you might be kind of thinking of pasalubong, which is, like, a gift.
Is it?
But no, you might also be thinking of balikbayan box.
That's what I'm thinking of. That's what I'm thinking of.
I'm like, it might be P, it might be B. I'm not sure what you're relating it to.
Yes.
No, but like, I mean, yeah, that's what I was actually like.
Yeah.
I remember Nico too, when I first met him, and it was during the pandemic. He actually ended up buying me a couple of the masks that you made during that time.
Oh, Nico, thank you.
Yeah.
Because then we were like, ended up like matching, because he got me the tan one, because I'm very much a neutral color type of person. And he got the
green.
Yeah, you got the army green one.
Yeah.
And I was wearing it everywhere, and my parents were like, that's a nice mask. I was like, thanks. I'm like, thanks, guys.
You.
It's upcycled.
It's upcycled. I'm saving the environment, Mom and Dad.
Wow, what a wild time.
Yeah.
What a wild time. I remember thinking like, okay, what can I do? What do I do during this time? And at that time, all the masks were gone. I think I made like 5,000 masks.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was wild times, guys, back then.
Oh my gosh.
I was constantly just making, and I've never busted out, like, when you think about manufacturing and busting out the same product over and over again, like, I've never felt that before. And it was like a rush. Like, I literally sold out so many times. And I was like,
that's nuts.
Yeah, it was wild.
You're like, oh my God, I have to get back on the
can I hold your wallet? 5,000 masks.
It was
if I remember, I was paying like
back then, I know. I was like, wow, this is how it is. Oh wow. It was nuts, but not only that, I was doing a lot of donations too. Like, people were actually buying masks to donate to healthcare workers.
Oh, that's lit.
right. That's right.
Yeah, which was so great and so amazing. And so, wild times, guys.
So is it like, because now that we were talking about this and you sold out so many times, it's just you making and sewing?
At that time, I did have one. So right now it's me usually, or I have one more person. And so right now I do have one person.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
She's, oh my gosh, amazing.
That's great.
Yes. And then during COVID, I did have one person help me as well, Carolyn. And that was also very amazing.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I'm like, if that's constantly,
that's a lot of masks,
at the sewing machine, like, every day.
Yeah, you know what? Like, who was Quest? Oh gosh, why is my brain giving me a fart right now?
Her brain ain't braining right now.
Yeah, remember there were so many DJs. There were so many DJs during quarantine.
Yeah,
Questlove.
Oh yeah, shout out Questlove.
Literally it would be like, oh, it's my boyfriend Questlove. We're just gonna DJ all night and just make these masks during quarantine. But yeah, it was wild times back then.
Mexipino family, what's poppin'? We wanted to stop the podcast very quickly just to tell you about our sponsors, Tap Tap Send. If you don't know by now, Tap Tap Send is a remittance app that allows you to send money to the Philippines in literally like 1, 2, 3 seconds, right? Literally seconds. What you can do right now, too, is that if you use code Mexipino, you will get $20 that you will be able to send over to your friends and family over in the PH right now. That's code Mexipino. Literally the name of this podcast, Mexipino. So what I'm going to need y'all to do is download that Tap Tap Send app today and make sure that you send money over to them. And, give your friends and family over in the Philippines a little something, Maybe they want to buy some lomi, maybe some pan de sal, some pancet, some lumpia, maybe some food for the week, because that $20 can stretch all the way over there. I'm telling you, like, you send that $20 over to them, they will be eating for like a whole damn week, and you will thank me for it. Tap, tap, send, and let's Let's get back to the podcast, y'all. I guess how many masks did you have to make a day to fulfill all
It was
those
a
orders?
lot. Oh my gosh. If I can go back to my archive of things, it was nuts.
Really?
It was so nuts to have to fulfill orders and then make the mask and get all the material. Yeah, it was nuts.
I remember during those times too, that's when a lot of things were really hitting the USA, whether it be like Stop Asian Hate or also like Black Lives Matter movement. So what I really appreciated about you was the fact that like, you know, you create things with a purpose.
Oh,
so when the Black Lives Matter movement was really like so strong during that time, like you made a statement with some of your clothes.
Yeah, yes. That was, wow, that was, again, I keep on saying it, like wild times. But I think that's what I love about being a creative and being able to just make your mood. Like I feel like every single piece that I make is a part of me. If it's like a song that I'm listening to or the way I'm feeling that I just want to express through, you know, the item that I'm making, it really is so powerful.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, those statement pieces really mean so much.
Yeah. I think too, like, you know, a couple things happen when you specifically make a statement piece, right? So like one thing that happens is that when it comes to clothing, there's no label on it, like racially, you know what I mean? Like you can't look at clothes and be like, these are Black clothes, these are Asian clothes, these are white clothes, whatever, right? But for you, for people who know you're Filipino, like especially during that time when like a lot of people of color needed support. Yeah. Like I'm looking at you thinking like, okay, well, Elle's Filipino and she's supporting this. Like it kind of builds this cool, I guess, mesh between like the Filipinos and like Black people at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. It like that really was like, oh my God, I keep on saying it, but like a crazy time. And a lot of my friends, we were just constantly just messing each other and just kind of like talking to each other about this. And I remember just, you know, being part of all those marches, especially during COVID. Like I was at one of them in LA and there was like a shooting and there was and there was like all the tear gases coming up and all this stuff. And I remember we had to lock ourselves in the car because we were just like, and it was just so wild to even go through that. And I was like, is this really happening just because we're protesting right now? Like, this is so unnecessary. And so there was just so much anger and frustration during that time that I felt like I needed to do something. And, you know, being able to create at that time and being able to like, you know, talk about it and to be able to have that support and also support others as well was just, it really brought community.
It's a blessing.
Really.
So when it comes to statement pieces, do you feel like, do you keep them for yourself or do you also put them up?
I also put them up.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask like I know there was an instance with like this company like that they were trying to, you can blatantly see capitalize off of what was going on. And I was just wondering like, do you get backlash when you put that stuff out there when it comes to statement pieces?
I don't think so because I think my pieces are all one of a kind. So it's not like I'm making
a whole lot.
Right. So I think that's where I feel like it's a little different in those aspects. But I do, like in that aspect, I did donate to a particular organization. And like right now, I'm wearing one of our, the Filipino collection that I made. And those go to particular organizations. So just kind of depending on what the collection is. I've also worked with A21 and human trafficking, and I've made a collection for them. That's actually the collection that Kehlani purchased and she wore and she talked about. Part of those proceeds went to that organization. And that's what I think is really important to me. Is I love to be working with nonprofits in regards to, you know, their mission. And if they have any items that, you know, maybe were last year or their logos are changed or overstocked from like maybe like a walk that they did that's at like 19 whatever, like I can recreate that, tell their story along with reducing their waste and we can collab together. And those are the pieces that I really love because there's so much more like impact and power in that.
So without playing like any favoritism, right? I guess like which one of these like nonprofits had like a story that just like truly impacted you where you were just like, I really have to do this because I really want to support this specific cause?
Yeah, so A20, so during, what year was that? Oh my gosh, I can't even remember. But like A21 is a nonprofit organization that helps, you know, women with human trafficking. And at that time, I was also working with December, who also worked with women in human trafficking. And we did their A21 Freedom Walk. And so there was a whole thing that kind of came up with the walk, the protest, and just learning more about it. And I think, to me, I feel like I'm always a student.
Yeah.
And so being able to hear those stories and be part of that impact and to be able to create something was just so powerful. And that's just because I was so in it. Like, not only was I working for A21, I was also working with December, and it was all around that same month. So there was so much information that I was gathering that I would have not known if I wasn't involved with that. And so, like I said, it really is a blessing to be able to, you know, one, I think, be an entrepreneur. Right. Because you're able to kind of pivot or move in whatever direction kind of fuels your energy and your purpose.
Yeah.
And so at that moment, you know, working for that organization and doing this collection for them, I felt was super powerful.
That's love.
Yeah, and that's, I think, really dope because, like, I think as a creative, sometimes we can hit a wall. Oh, yeah, all the time. But when you find purpose, when you find meaning into something, like, okay, I am having this block of creativity right now, but this is something that I really am passionate about too. I can combine the two, and in turn, you start to break down that block of creativity that you're on.
Right.
And I think that's also an issue that I have with, nothing personal, right? But that's an issue that I have with a lot of like people who are starting, whether it be like clothing brands or whatnot. Like, I just don't necessarily see purpose in some of them, right? So like, let's say you start a clothing brand, for example. Like, the one question I will always ask is why, right? When it comes to people who want to like send me clothes, I'm always looking at their page, trying to see like what necessarily they got going on, like, and not looking for like, oh, are they supporting a cause or whatever? But it's like, are you doing this because you just simply want to make money? Are you trying to help your family? You know what I mean? Like, these are things that I could kind of like tap in and understand, like, why exactly are you doing these things? And what tends to happen is that when you don't have purpose, right? Like, when your purpose isn't to upcycle or like help people through upcycling, it's very easy to become lost in the sauce of like, well, what kind of piece of clothing am I going to make today? Like, how can I use my creative juices today? But when you're just so money motivated, it's like, okay, like, well, what's something that's trending right now? What's something that I can do that's just going to like make me a quick buck right now?
Right. I feel like when we talk about sustainability, like, and you think about business, if you are just chasing money, you're going to go wherever that money goes. So right. But if you have a purpose, you're going to continue to, that's going to be longevity.
Yeah.
Right. And your values. And I think especially with fashion, and this is the issue that I was facing too when I started this, I was kind of scared of like, what happens if I do like, you know, blow up? Am I going to sell out? You know, and what does that look like? You know, and when I even started, it was like, hey, Elle, if you just like use this fabric or do it this way, it would be so much easier. And I was like, but that doesn't go like for my values.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm so proud, and I continue to pray that I continue to stay that. Like, I feel like I've stayed this long, and I've gotten opportunities that have aligned with my values because I've stuck to them. Yeah. And I was just on an upcycling show on FuseTV.
Okay. Oh my God.
Congrats. Yeah, episode 3. And before I got that, I was interviewed for another fashion show, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you watch on TV. But I remember thinking like, oh man, like, I'm going to be using brand new fabric. Like, what's going to happen to these clothes when I'm done? Like, I just felt like the opportunity was so good, but it was not aligned with my values. And so I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, am I going to miss on this great opportunity if I say no? But then what is it going to look like in the future, like later on? And at the end, I had to be like, I'm sorry, I can't do this. But if there is ever an upcycling show, like, I'm your girl. 3 months later, Upcycled Nation came out.
Wow.
And I did that show. And I was so all about it. I was like, this is it. You know, this is great. So again, I just feel like staying true to your values is only going to lead you more to yourself.
No, 100%.
You know? And, so yeah.
Yeah, and something that I was asking Nico prior to you getting here was, I really wanted you to explain, because I see it all the time when it's with people who are either upcycling or creating customs. Like, I just bought off this Chicano brand. His name is, or his Instagram name is Chubby Chicano, and what he does is he buys like old clothes and he'll paint on them, but it's very much like Latino and Mexican based. It's all like, it's basically like murals on a clothes, and I think it's super dope. But a lot of people in his comment section were all like, why are you charging so much? Why are you like, you know, you probably bought those pants for $20 and that paint probably cost this much, and why are you charging what you do?
Yeah.
And I feel like people don't understand the time, the effort, and it takes to upcycling or creating customs, you know? So like, how do you feel like you have to, like, I guess, explain yourself to people when it comes to that?
Yeah, definitely. Because definitely. And you know, I just have to realize that, like, you know, you are going to find the people who are going to understand. They're going to support you regardless. And if I ended up cheapening my product, then they're just going to throw it away. Right?
Yeah,
and
it goes back to it. Yeah,
it goes against everything that I like value, you know? And so I didn't want to do that. Like, I want you to be able to be conscious of your spending. If you're going to spend something on RLE, you're going to be like conscious of it, and you're going to want to keep it.
Yeah.
You know? And that's also why I definitely push custom a lot, because if you're using your own clothes and you're in that process with me, you're going to keep that forever. And you're probably going to pass it down to somebody else.
Yeah. And then also too, it's like, I feel like if you're giving your clothes, you're also, it's because you low-key want to keep the actual shirt, but it doesn't either fit you anymore, or like, it's like, you know, like you said, there's holes, or it's bleached or something like that. And it's like, okay, well, I can still keep a part of it with me all the time.
Yes.
Ah, that's so interesting.
I mean, I never thought of it that way, because, you know, again, like, we're in a space where everything is moving quickly, right? Like, for me, music's moving very freaking quickly. So it's like music's getting like this, that, and the third. And with clothes, it's like when Jackie moved in, right? When Jackie moved in, she was like, hey, I want to go from like your single person dresser, which had like 4 drawers, to like a 2-person dresser, which has 3 drawers on each side. So now there's 6. And I was like, but babe, that's not going to fit all my clothes. And she's like, well, looks like you got to get rid of some of your clothes now. I'm like, fuck, dude.
She's going to tell you.
Yeah. But then when it came down to my decision-making process, right, I had to go through all the motions. I'm like, okay, let me like channel in my Marie Kondo.
No, for real.
No, I was like, let me channel in my Marie Kondo. Like, when was the last time I wore this shit? How much did I buy this for? Did I get it for free? Does it make me happy?
Yeah.
Did I, you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. And that makes the decision-making process a lot easier. It's like, oh, let me just get rid of this because it's whatever. Yeah. But to your point, man, I bought like a $100 shirt one time. I'm like, look, I worn this maybe like 4 times. I know exactly where it's at. I'm not getting rid of it anytime soon. Like,
you're
you know what I mean?
Take care of it.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna take care of it, you know? And but now it's made me a lot more conscious of just like, when I spend money on clothing, I'm gonna make sure like I either really want it, like it's really expensive or something like, or maybe not even really expensive. Maybe it's just something where I'm just a lot more conscious of just, I don't need to spend too much money anymore, you know?
Right. And then we also think about like, if you're buying something that's cheap, what's happening behind the scenes, right? There's a lot of unethical stuff that's happening behind the scenes that I feel like a lot of people are unaware of, and the fashion industry has been keeping away from us, right? So if you're buying a shirt that's like $15-20 or whatever, how long does that take? Where is it getting shipped? The dyeing, the labor laws of whoever's making it, like all that stuff is like not that good in those aspects. And so, like, you're right. I think we just all need to be very conscious of what we're purchasing. And like, you're right. If you get something that's really cheap, you're more likely to just be like, I don't care about this. Oh, like there's a stain, I'm just gonna throw it out. I'm not gonna clean it. But I'm pretty sure with your $100 shirt, you're gonna try to figure out how you're gonna clean it.
Exactly. If I spill some coffee on it, I'm like, hey, look, bro, no, I'm getting the Tide thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm making sure it's out.
I'm pretty sure with shoes.
Oh yeah, with his shoes.
On your shoes, you're like, oh no, you're like cleaning that. You know?
I'm like, I gotta sit down for the next hour just to make sure it's all scrubbed off and whatnot. I get it. Yeah. But I guess like in an industry where like everything is moving very fast paced, so quick, like, you know, like how do you, I guess, just maintain I guess like your sanity and know, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know if I'm doing it. I don't know if I'm there is so much going on. Like, I know with even like AI and stuff like that, like they're doing like fashion shows, like, and they're like not even producing. Like,
wait,
it's so freaking cool to think about what's happening with technology.
Wait, hold on. Wait, you said there's AI fashion shows?
Yeah, like you can literally just like create a fashion show just like on, you know, on the computer and like have the styles already made without even producing anything. So that way they can, you know, introduce it to companies and reduce waste, which is actually amazingly a genius idea. I don't know how to even do any of that stuff. Like, how would I even do that stuff?
So
I mean, I'm sure it's a quick Google search, like AI fashion show.
But then am I like, do I have to learn how to do this? Do I, you know, do I need to like major in something and take? And I'm like, no.
So do you think like, because I know for the music industry, AI is pretty like, a lot of artists don't like it.
Yes,
they hate it.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
for the fashion industry, AI, you would say, is like more beneficial.
Well, I think
in your opinion.
I feel like we have to take it as like tools, right? Like they can help us, and I think it's really neat. But I'm a maker. Like I make everything by hand, and I love doing that. So I think you're right. There's like a part of me that's like, I need to jump on this new technology that's happening. I need to get on it. And there's other parts of me that are like, you know what? I'm just going to not listen to it and just have my piece of just making.
Yeah.
So there definitely is that push and pull. Same thing with social media. Like you guys are all in social media. I feel like I've reduced my time to like an hour. I used to have like an hour and a half a day. That was my max. And then now I feel like I'm like, 3 hours a week. And I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Oh, dude, that's so
nice.
amazing. That's lovely.
That's
lovely.
But I know I'm probably like screwing myself over by not being on it at moments, you know, because especially in entrepreneurship, like you need social media.
Yeah.
And so again, I'm like, I have to try to tell myself like, it's okay. You're at this moment right now, or maybe you're not in it right now. But yeah, we have to catch up with the times, and I don't know if I'm.
I mean, I feel like there's also like that like push and pull between like a brick and mortar, right? Because like everything that you do right now is just just solely pop-ups.
Yeah, which is nuts. That's not sustainable either. Last year I did 32 pop-ups.
32.
Yeah.
Damn.
And none of them were Mexipino Food Fest.
No, I know. By the way.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
I just throw a little bit of shade, you know? I'm just playing.
In 2 weeks, you guys have it going on. How exciting.
Yeah. No, we wanted Elle, but then, you know, she's a busy woman.
I'm doing a show that same exact weekend.
It's
but
all
I
good.
definitely want to do it the next one.
Hopefully going to do San Diego next. But we're definitely for sure going to go back to the Bay and back here. So
okay.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
We'll keep you updated with those dates.
But like even a brick and mortar. I mean, even right now, if you drive around North Hollywood, all the brick and mortar spots are just closing.
Right.
So it's like, you know,
hard.
as you as like you know, someone who's like just fully independent, like, is that something that you try to strive for, or do you think like the industry is just moving in a direction where like these pop-ups are just the way to go moving forward?
You know, I think so right now, and I felt very lucky because right before the pandemic hit, that was my goal. It's like I really want to get into a brick and mortar, and then the pandemic hit. You know, and my goal is still to get into like a brick and mortar eventually. Like my big goal would to have a Recreate the Created store where you can take your shirts in. Nico could take your shirts in, you know, and then you can shop Ellerali, you can shop, you know, Ilikoi, he does hats, you can shop, you know, Utopia that does bags, you can shop someone who does like furniture, and you can pretty much be like, well, I want to get my shirts made into this, and you choose. So it's pretty much a curated, upcycled store.
That would be
it's kind of like
so freaking dope.
Kind of like a Build-A-Bear, but clothes.
Yes,
Yo, that's kind of sick. I like that idea.
That is so dope.
Yeah, so I definitely see that. I see that everywhere because we just have so much stuff, and you'd be all local designers, and we'd also have like a salvaged area in the back, you know, because so many places have like overstock of material.
Right.
So you can either bring some stuff and pick material from there too and add it into your piece. So yeah, exactly, like a Build-A-Bear with clothes.
Yeah. No, that's
so
super cool.
that is my goal. So that's like my big picture goal. And then I also want to start doing consulting as well for upcycle. So I want to be known as like the leader in upcycling. And if, you know, a company comes into me and they're like, I have like, you know, 300 sweaters that all got damaged. Like what can you do? I'd be able to provide a collection for them with their their clothes.
Well, okay, so I guess like let me ask you that question. Like, what can we do? Like, I mean, so basically, as a Filipino, it's like when I have extra clothes, I just send them over to my parents, and then they send them in the buying box. Yes. They send it over there. But like, you know, for someone who's not Filipino or someone who doesn't do that, like, what do you do?
You can message me. You can DM me at Ellerali.com.
Oh, she's like, just give me the clothes.
She's like, I want to do it.
But also, what's great is that I have such a huge upcycled community. Like the upcycling community is very small, and so we're constantly always like being like, hey, there's this company who has all these shirts. Do you want it? Or they have all this fabric or all these buttons. Do you want it? So we can just share amongst the upcycled community. But also another thing is like, don't throw your clothes away. That's the biggest thing. You don't want to throw your clothes away. I always say like you can donate it. You know, your local Goodwill. They have like recycling facilities that they work with. Oh, so they'll sort it and they'll be able to be like, okay, well this can go back or this can go here or go into a recycling facility or get made into wash rags or get into insulation. So they have those resources to be able to decide where your damaged clothes go to.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm learning a lot, honestly. I didn't realize there was
I am too.
Yeah.
Went from marine biology to upcycle it at Goodwill.
Yeah. Or you know what's fun too when you have a party? Like have like a little trade swap thing. Like I used to in Christmas, I would bring like a rack and just have all the titas and all my cousins just bring clothes in, and we just trade. And it was just so cool to have this kind of fashion show with your
That's what honestly I do with my cousins, because we're all like around, I guess, like the same age, but we're more of like the same like size and height.
Yeah.
So I just like anytime that I'm getting rid of clothes before I take it to Goodwill, I'll tell them, I'm like, hey, here's Jackie's yard sale. Go ahead and take whatever you want. Like go for it. And then if I see like one of their sweaters, I'm like, I'm taking yours.
How fun is that?
I'm like, oh, you want those 4 crop tops? That's gonna cost you a sweater.
It's really fun to be able to do those swaps and those trades, right? And then I know like locally there's some like places that do like swaps as well. Like it's like free. You bring your clothes in and then you just swap it.
We should do that.
I mean, hopefully it's washed.
No, well, you mean...
Well, you should always wash your clothes.
I was about to say, you better go in there. Like, remember when I bought, like, I ended up buying, like, a little, like, a button-up the other day because I had the day party to do. And then as soon as I put it on, my parents were like, oh, well, did you wash it after you bought it? I said, no.
Oh my
and then they're like, well, do you know if the guy washed it? I'm like, well, shit, I hope he did. I'm not itching or anything right now, so I'm good. I'm straight.
No,
I'm
definitely wash your clothes if you're like
please
buying.
Wash your clothes. Yes.
But I think that's super dope. We should go to like one of those like swap.
Oh no, I'm totally down for that.
Oh, and there's just, like I said, everyone has just so many cool things.
Yeah.
You know, that they're not going to use. But what do they say? Someone's trash is someone's treasure?
Yeah.
What is it
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
That's
so or dope. Woman.
Or woman.
Or they. You know what I mean?
Yes,
you know, we're trying to be progressive over here. So, Elle, what's next for Ellerali?
Well, I do have 2 pop-ups happening right now. So one of them is in Montrose, which is actually pretty close to here, right? Montrose by Burbank.
Oh
yeah, that's close.
Yeah,
that's
so
close.
there's a Montrose Arts and Crafts Festival happening first week of June, and then after that I have an Allbirds pop-up. So the great thing about Ellerali is I just started being part of the All Good Collective for Allbirds Shoes. Sustainable shoe company.
Yeah. My homie, that's all he wears now.
They're so comfortable.
This is not an ad.
They're so comfortable. And I do pop-ups in all Allbirds, pretty much. So, which is great. So I do a lot in Pasadena. I'm doing the one in El Segundo. I've done the one in Hayes Valley in the Bay.
Okay. Yeah.
I've done one in Seattle.
Oh, that's so dope.
Yeah, so it's really great that a company like that is being able to support small business and allows us to use that space.
That's cool.
That's kind of where I think it should be going. You know, like when you talk about retail spaces, there's a lot of space. You know, and so if these big businesses can like bring in the small businesses to pretty much showcase what they're doing, it's such a huge like come up. Right. For us. So I have those 2 shows coming up next, and then we'll see where Ellerali comes in the next few months, because I feel like this is the year of pivot for me.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which is exciting and nerve-wracking. You know?
Yeah, but it's good to put it out there.
Yes.
It's really great to put it out there, because then when the time does come, you're gonna know like I was prepared for this.
Yes.
Yeah. And I always see like it actually happened like a couple years ago, but I always saw, well, actually during the pandemic, but I saw, okay, this year is the setup for next year. And so by the time it's like next year, let's just say it's 2023 right now, it's like, now I'm thinking, okay, well, this year's the setup for next year.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And then once 2024 happens, okay, cool, this is the setup for next year. You know what I mean? I kind of just like take these notes, and something that Jackie's dad has always said, like, if you look back a year from a year ago and you're in a much better place now, then you did the right thing.
Oh, that's so
You know?
good. Wow, what a wise dad.
Thanks.
Yeah.
He always says it. It's his. It's always in the middle of his speech at Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's his thing.
Oh,
that's
I love it.
He always says. So I always take that whenever I'm, moving through life. So
Oh, that's beautiful.
yeah.
Amen to that. Well, Elle, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Ellerali, ELLERALI, and on my website. And then please visit the next 2 shows that I'll be in, or just check out my events page and see where I'm at next.
Sick. Do you ship? I forget.
Do I ship?
Yeah, do you ship? Okay, cool.
Yeah, she does.
I mean, I'm just clarifying for everybody on the pod, you know?
Yes,
You know?
I do
They could go to
ship.
her website, they could click on some, she'll ship it out.
Yes.
Da-da-da.
Or you can come to my shows and get to meet me in person, and we can do a little dance and get to learn about each other. I do love the markets because it really gets you that chance to just meet people and talk to people.
Hell yeah.
100%.
Well, my name is Nico Blitz.
I'm Jackie Ramirez.
And this is Elle.
Hi, I'm Elle.
See y'all next time.
Adios.
Thank you.